my name is Lisa Quan, and this is my Korean American story. I've pretty much been in nonprofit all my life. I love it. I went to Loyola Marymount University and I majored in political science and Asian American history. I went to LMU because it's a school that believes in social justice, and I've always believed in helping the community. I wasn't born in this country. I came here when I was 2. I was living in Korea, Daecheon. That's where my family's from. My mom was like left alone. She didn't have any parents, and she met my dad, and they fell in love, and they got married in Korea. And my dad, he kind of felt bad because my mom was living with my grandparents, and since she wasn't the one who had a traditional education, the family asked her to take care of 2 other kids. They were aunties and they were teachers, and they asked my mom to take care of them. So my mom went a little crazy taking care of me and 2 other babies, doing the laundry, cooking and cleaning, basically being a housemaid. So my dad said, let's go to America where we don't have to deal with this. And my dad came to Texas first, and he worked at a Stop and Go. It's like a 7-Eleven type of place. And so he worked night shift. He was a cashier, and he planted a little nest, created some money and savings, and then called my mom and me to come over when I was about 2 years old, and we stayed with him. My mom is a go-getter. She's very determined, motivated, strong Korean American woman. My dad is very nice, kind, a little lazy. He's my dad. I still love him no matter what. He has the greatest heart. But he never really wanted to make more than each paycheck. He wanted to give all his money to church too. He was really recruited by the Korean American church, and he believed in donating a lot of his money to the church. My mom didn't mind doing that, but she said, take me out on the weekends too. Let's live life. Let's do stuff. She was one, after working at Continental Airport, she opened her own business, a swap meet in Houston. She basically built that business by herself. The frame, the wooden frames of it, she created it. She did like all the hammering and everything. Eventually she got tired and she decided to take off from my dad. But when she did, it wasn't like where she could tell him, I'm gonna leave, because my dad loved her so much. She basically just ran away and cut all ties with him, and she left me around age 5 and she moved to New York. And so my dad was kind of shocked and could not find my mom and stressed out, and he didn't know what he had to do because he was always working. My mom was the one taking care of me and working. So he pretty much wanted to put me in foster care. And somehow my mom found out that that was going to happen. So she came back down to Houston and picked me up and took me to New York. And so I was living with my mom in New York, went to school there. And then my mom found a boyfriend, and she decided to get remarried. And in the Korean American community, it's very shameful if you marry a woman with a kid. It's considered taboo. And the person my mom married, my stepfather, he's very traditional Korean American guy. He's so strict, and his family doesn't believe in marrying a woman with a kid, and he's never been married either in his life. So my mom had to make a decision when his family was going to come visit. What is she going to do? Is she going to present me as the daughter, or is she going to try to get rid of me? And having me getting rid of me and sending me to Korea to my grandparents was the easier option for her back then. So around age 11, my mom told me, because I had forgotten that my dad was gone when I was 5. She told me that, surprise, your dad is alive. He's not dead, because she told me that before, and I was too young to remember when they divorced. I said, okay, Mom, he's alive. And what next? Well, we tracked him down, and I'm sending you to Korea. I tracked down grandparents too, and you're going to go to Korea, and your dad's going to meet you there. And so I was crying, and I said, what did I do wrong? Why am I going to live in Korea? I don't want to be there. I don't even really speak Korean. And so she sent me to Korea to live with my grandparents for 3 years. And my dad was just not doing well financially in LA. He could not take care of me, so he had made a request to my grandparents to please take care of me while he tries to stabilize his finances. So living with my grandparents is quite an interesting experience. I could not go to school because it was very expensive to go to English school in Seoul. I lived in the Shugor, Daecheon, and I was teased the minute I got there because I was different than everyone else. I had my ears pierced, I had long hair. people were like, who is this girl coming to our neighborhood? Does she think she's better than us because she can speak English? 3 years later, my dad was able to, his finances were better. I moved to LA. He tried to put me into high school, and it was Los Angeles High School. It was very different and unique because when you think of Korean Americans, you think of the model minority. You think of Asians excelling, doing well in math, and their parents putting them into the best schools and doing their laundry and making all their meals and making sure that education is number one. Well, I hate to debunk the model minority myth, but that wasn't the case for me. My dad was not really educated. He didn't have any resources. He just put me in LA High. He didn't even know that was a good school or not. He just put me there because it was closest to where I lived on Western and 7th Street by McDonald's. So I went to LA High, and it was just a very unmotivating experience. I was in class in math, and the teacher was teaching poker in math class instead of math. So when I was in a couple of the classes, I wasn't motivated, and I would get into fights. I was going through my puberty years. I felt like my parents weren't around. My dad really wasn't watching what I was doing. Because I've had such an interesting, different, unique life like many other people, instead of blaming my life and my parents, I want to help out. I want to make a difference. Instead of looking at people down, I want to make sure when I do, I give them a hand up. And that's the type of ideology I have, where I believe in social justice and helping out with youth and being involved in a community. Weak people, they revenge. Smart people, they ignore. Strong people forgive. And so because I've gone through so many things, I think I built an armor of resilience. And I know that the world doesn't stop for anyone. You just have to keep pushing.